Hey, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to Katawa Shoujo. The alarm goes off. And I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I decided to give morning rounds another shot. I know this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. It's about my health after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that has made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can manage that well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Yo, I keep lying to myself like that as well. If I can manage that, I'll manage that as well. And then I do. Once again, it will appear that I'm not alone in my run. Emmy has apparently been here for some time. Now I'm curious, does all the choices we've made so far like... Oh, wait. For Emmy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... First 5 choices doesn't matter? That's crazy. Wait, for Emmy actually... Barely any choices matter. Wow. I know I analyzed it right now, it does matter. Emmy has apparently been here for some time. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. Just when the hell does she come down here anyway?
Oh, it's you! I'm surprised to see you again.
Why is that?
Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try.
Yeah, guys. Don't worry, just go. That's how it actually works. Just go. Don't think if you should or not. Just go. And you'll get into it. She frowns, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought.
Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning.
I shrug, and suddenly it appears that she's forgetting what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought.
So, come on then!
What?
You're here to run again, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
So, come on!
I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked to the track. I like her. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling while Emmy moves with an effortlessness that I find enviable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. It's always like that in the beginning, man, don't worry. I know I should be patient, work toward things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. I mean, I don't know, I can't relate. Like, if I go, I'll just manage to go. I mean, I guess that's me. Just that, yeah. We round the track and start on our second lap. So you've done, let's say, 400 meters right now. Emmy seems to have grown impatient keeping pace with me and begins to pull away. This is what I gave out yesterday. Come on, man. Do another one. Or so I would like to say, but apparently I'm not supposed to. Yeah. Even if I would like to go for it, not gonna lie, but we have to take it easy. Then again, I mean, maybe go for it means he will try to run faster. Maybe not. Take it easy, man. Keep the steady pace. Or if you can't keep the steady pace, slow down a little bit, but still go on. I let me go her own pace, and she doesn't show mercy, putting half a lap ahead of me in an instant. Okay, so this is what it meant. It's not like, okay, I give up. It's just, yeah, I'll keep at it. I will slowly build up my stamina. Okay, I don't blame her. I mean, it's not as I'm really putting up any sort of real fight out here, is it? And you are not Shizune. Instead, I'm just running at a steady pace, which is what I should be doing, right? Yes. Keep it like that. Eventually, you'll be able to speed up. Yes. Eventually, your steady pace will become faster still. There's no need to go pushing my limits at this stage of the game. Yeah. God, is this even worth it? Yes. As we finish the second lap, I break off again. Amy keeps going, and it almost seems to be that she's disappointed. Well, that's stupid. I don't have anything to prove to her. Come to think of it, I've got nothing to prove to myself either. I'm just fine the way I am. And what I'm not is a runner. This was probably a bad idea. No. Maybe there's something else I can do instead of this. Getting up this early sucks anyway. I mean, no one said that you have to work out in the morning. There is gotta be some other way to keep the healthy. Walking, maybe. Nice afternoon walks. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Running isn't for me. You just don't know what you're talking about. I wave to Emi and head back to my room. Or, you know, maybe... Okay, but that would be dangerous for him, I guess. You know, not going around the field, you know, around the track, but actually going out of the area of the school. Trying to find some nice place to run, because that also helps sometimes. I'll think of something else later. Maybe. Back in my room, the first thing I see is the familiar row of medication bottles lined up on top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed as usual. It's annoying. I thought I was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing, gotten over it. But what I did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here really reminds me of the reality, and trying to fight against it just hurts. Reflecting on it's only going to do so much. I've done this before for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is a life in progress. That is how I will rationalize it. I down the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepare to head out to class early, as usual. As I step into the hallway, I notice Kenji coming around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me, sounds like a ninja hiding in plain sight. I call out to him. Hey! He jumps to the sound of my voice. Oh, hey man, I noticed you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it would be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. Didn't we just ask? We just asked you. I need supplies to continue the fight against the Fast Family's conspiracy. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decide to not point out that he's not wearing one. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Genji breaks it by pushing his door open slowly, releasing a creak sound in the air that only makes the moment seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside the room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out that hesitate. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just want to know when the next day was. I'm still going to take it there. I know what day I can afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on the car by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. And why do you have to go out when you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Me at the age of... Where did I get a phone actually? But I'm pretty sure I did not carry phone with me in primary school. So, to the age of 13. In junior I think in junior high I already did. Because I remember typing like crazy during those days. But before that, definitely I did not carry phone with me. But whatever. I think I had like actual phone to myself at 12? 12 or 13. So 5th or 6th grade. Whatever, alright? Why don't you have a phone? How can you not have a phone? No phone, tall! No phone! I just don't like them. Actually, I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories in it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past. Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head? Well, what else could I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass? Unexpectedly logical. I feel very depressed now. Sensing this conversation is more or less over. Kenji opens the door again and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm going to sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is going to start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I actually did one too because I thought the store had started selling individual double A batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair, finally letting me go to the class. Kenji, you could have played this as giving him back the money. Sort of way. For a change. I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class, but their faces by now. For the names escape me still. I know like 3 of them. The clouds go on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. Okay, this actually bothers me a little bit. What the hell is that thing on the desk of the teacher? What the frick is that? I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overly attentive. The first days I was pretty high strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival.
So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year.
You know what? This guy actually reminds me of my physics professor from university. Like, he seems to be rather tall, yes. Super slim, yes, that's similar. He also had like a little bit of a crazy haircut. And like one day beard and mustache, I guess. So one day facial hair. And he also was like, okay, shirt. Super fancy outfit. But he was crazy good, man. I wish any other lecturer was like him. Like, you could tell he was passionate about what he was doing. It was so enjoyable. Like, the only teacher / professor I can say about it. About something like that about. Yeah.
Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of the festival in your minds.
Games are and fried food.
Everyone bursts out laughter, and so do I. As you can hear.
Yes, thank you, Mikado. But what I mean...
Well, I guess you got cut off. Poland.
The bell ring is not for the students, it's for the teachers.
That's what you would hear. The remainder of the sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in the school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria.
Hisao! I'm going to make you a one-time only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunch boxes and the privilege of joining them in the private with 2 bombshell beauties!
Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Abby strikes a very confident looking pose as for an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her very modest chest. And why did you say that? And making the V for victory sign with her hands. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited?
You stood there looking real lost and so sad, so I thought you could use some company.
That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable.
So how about it? You're probably lonely and would eat the tofu cafeteria food all alone otherwise.
Eh?
I'm kidding.
Sure. I'll have your lunch offer with pleasure.
Let's go to the roof!
The roof? Why the roof?
Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off and then I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs the lunch for herself.
Who will? Rin.
Come with me!
Without answering question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do you have an extra lunch? Amy smiles guiltily.
Actually, it's yesterday's one. I slipped in around at lunch and forgot to eat it.
Huh? The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the interpreting individual was that removed the lock. Does it matter? Amy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Amy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs.
Yeah!
Hello?
Yeah! You scared me, Rin!
Wait, isn't she? Hello? Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Amy looks curiously at me.
Huh? You two know each other?
I look confused at Amy. She's that friend of yours. Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school.
I didn't know you knew this person, Amy.
The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Amy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off.
I invited Hisao lunch. If you know him, that's just better.
Oh, does that mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch?
Neither. I have food for free.
Nice thinking.
They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There is nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in the other schools. A few rundown branches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barracks set up passerby. Somehow when I look towards the town center, the small town strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic life of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus, like their life depended on it to get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. Oh, the traffic jams. How we hate them. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine. Looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came suddenly. I haven't had the time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smoke and car exhaust like it used to do just a few weeks ago. That's how it is in my city. Emmy settles on a bench with Rain in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag.
Come on, Hisao, what are you waiting for?
She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I sit myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places the lunchbox in front of Rinch, and hands another lunchbox to me.
Here you go! Lunch as promised!
Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good.
Thanks, I'm making myself one again!
Conversation takes off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening a lunchbox and popping a forkful of food in her mouth using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such thing would be a good thing or bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? I mean, they are normal people, man. What's wrong? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? Would be nice. I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Amy treating to her lunch as if he had insulted her ancestors. Yeah, you seem pretty hungry. Amy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding.
My morning rant always works up an appetite. Which is great because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me get my girlish figure.
What happened? What would happen if you lose it? Would you become a man?
I very nearly choke on my lunch, tried not to laugh.
It's a figure of speech.
Does your figure have to run the mornings too?
Do you always talk like this?
Talk like what? Like what?
I think the answer answers my question. Never mind. So, I started to think of smoke talk and settle on the obvious question. How did you two meet?
Let me guess.
They? Now this will be a surprise. In the dorms, their rooms are next to each other. Because like that not happened like with me and Genji and with Hanako and Lilly, right? Rin seems content to let Emi answer the question.
Someone in the housing department thought that we'd complement each other well, so we are assigned rooms next to one another. I'm a genius! How did I work it out?
I should become a detective or something. Complement each other.
Like shoes and a suit.
Huh? Emi giggles at my confusion.
Put us together and we'll got all our limbs, get it? So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along.
I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject.
I have trouble with shirts.
Right, that seems fairly obvious.
Really?
Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emi seems to find the whole thing funny. That combined with the fact that Rini is genuinely curious makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got No arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that will be difficult. You know what? I'm going to just stop talking right now. It will save me lots of trouble in the long run. Read notes in what I expect is meant to be a sage manner. I mean, she's pretty blunt about things, so I feel like she won't feel bad.
I see.
The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Amy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise.
Ah, that was good.
As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up.
I'm thirsty.
Oh, I almost forgot about that, sorry.
With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tells me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry meal, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sort of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. No more... It's more like just... She's accepted the fact, right? Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure.
So, Hisao, how do you like it up here?
It's quite nice actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch too. Amy Green is 1,000 watts green. Please buy my response, I suppose. Adorable.
No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here.
No, oh, no lunch service. I don't know. Amy looks mocked, offended.
Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve!
She giggles.
Well, if that's your answer, I guess, Rin, then I will just keep eating lunch all alone.
I'm suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Amy pouts. Kidding. I was kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location. And the company's okay too. Amy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted the invitation. I guess this makes us friends now? Or at least acquaintances? The lunch bell rings, finally I return downstairs.
Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again!
I wasn't that hungry.
If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away.
Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I'd borrowed into the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind the... Why it started from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Sorry, Yuko. Didn't mean to startle you.
No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you?
It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. Oh, you have to put it yourself. Nice. I think that was the case only for my primary school. Then again, in junior high school and high school, I basically never visited the libraries. The small libraries there were. Anyway, I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There is not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. However, surprisingly for she is there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book, I decided against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. Why not? I mean, okay. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decided on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the Lynx, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't leave off the cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud searches to try and stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. After passing through the round and round in a corner 4, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and tapio of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without the word needing to be said. Hi, Lilly. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Hisao?
Yup, that's me.
She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered it is a pleasant surprise.
Good evening. What brings you here?
Once again, she gives a small polite bow, and once again, I reply in kind before realizing that I needed to do so. Just going into town? You?
My, what a coincidence!
Doing the same thing, huh?
I usually go shopping on Fridays.
She paused for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost.
That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me.
Ah, not lost but worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. Or she's still in the library. Got into that book a lot, I guess. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in the book. She lets out a small sigh of relief.
Thank you. She has a habit of doing that.
Avid reader.
Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit.
Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recalled my first meeting with her. Hardly wanted to bring it up, I remained silent as we quietly continued to walk down the quiet road.
Tick, 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 tick.
With the road bereft of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lee's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Where I used to live, not could you. Ugh. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it.
Tired?
Yeah, been running rank these past few days. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring to a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this.
Well, hopefully everything would settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things.
She's so understanding. For a moment I hesitated, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decided to keep my full thoughts. I guess. Yamaku is kind of different though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it for in time. She gives a matter-of-fact note, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding along with class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I'm on, it's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case.
Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends.
That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks about something else.
So, where in the town were you going?
That's actually a pretty good question. I ain't coming to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions. Again.
I was just going to get some food, but now that you mentioned it, I don't really know the way. Well, now that is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself.
Looks like I'll be in your care again then, thanks. Together walk to a store. My pace is carefully slow to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. Aura Mart. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. We're in Japan, right? Oh, okay, that's the store, so it makes sense. I mean, the rubbish bins, right? I mean, there aren't rubbish bins. There are no rubbish bins by basically around the streets, but I guess there are in the markets and so on, yeah. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter. Okay, literally the first refrigerator we see, I do believe, is filled with beer. And to the right, I think I also see alcohol. For maybe I'm wrong. It looks like bottles of some alcohol for. Anyway.
Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako will help me, but seeing as she's not here.
It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she'd had this idea since I was coming here. Sure, it would be my pleasure. I grabbed 2 well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lilly. Carry both of them, man. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it up in her right hand. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane, she will use the basket, right? Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers. Oh.
Is this alright?
Sure. Okay, I totally thought she would use the basket. But then again, she would probably throw things off the shelves, so that wouldn't be too wise. I didn't expect that one, but nice. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me even if it's out of necessity, okay? We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customer seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. I guess with the cane, it would be kind of risky that she would throw something off the shelves as well, right? But then again, she walks, she's hitting the ground, so technically there is always shelf a little bit above the ground level. Why am I even thinking about that right now? I guess that kind of interests me, okay. Anyway, as we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lee and find out what she needs. I grab along with what I'm looking for and put our items in their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Oh, actually there is a sign saying beer. I did not I noticed the refrigerator and that's, oh, great. First thing we see is the beer freaking refrigerator and it's written there. Anyway. Right, all that's left is the bread and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lee?
No, this should be everything.
Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we both paid for our food and are out of the door. As Lee retrieves her cane and extends it to full length, I wasted a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For my turn to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat does seem to cooperate. Eventually, it's summer, so yeah. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her back and leaving me to my 2.
You tired as well? The festival preparations have been complete chaos. She's not breathing down, my neck doesn't exactly help things either.
Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. That's... let's say it's true. Better now than later, right?
I suppose I'm going to enjoy relaxing tomorrow, that's for certain.
I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out in the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin! What are you doing out here so late?
Rin?
Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene. Sorry for going louder a bit. Interpret the scene for her. It's Rin. Tezuka, I think was her last name, I know. From our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated expression. Something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and painful cringe.
Ah, I understand.
I guess Lily knows Rin too? Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie, or a statue of a zombie. But slowly, some symptoms of understanding seem to light in her dark eyes. There's something she must react to. She blinks once, very far offly.
Hello.
There is no pause, everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing here in this light?
I was wondering about that myself too, just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed they were wondering the same. I don't know, they didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without the murder. They were going that way.
She turns facing to her right. In order to demonstrate direction, the other people went to as if that was important, then rotates back like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Lilly really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are in fact just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if bull, elephant, great sedatives were flowing in their veins in the place of blood.
Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of the sort for.
No, I don't think it's that. The other passerby were probably just worried for. You do look really lost. The way you're standing in the middle of the street.
Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case.
I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on the latter. It seems that most of the time it's better to not read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that except with human interaction. And even if I win, it feels like losing. Dang, just like Kenji said, even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? I push the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting me drink. A moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here? She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give.
I do have some idea. I can really tell what kind of idea. That sounds like progress at least.
Lee sounds as she spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism.
Yes, there is some, definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it, I always have reasons.
The ensuing silence kills Lilly's hopes all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rins, as far as I can tell, unbased. Assurances aside, what should be done? We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she managed to remember what she was doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. Liz oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the silence here, especially if she's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So... I assume you're going somewhere, not going back to school, and idea where? Her eyes widen in shock, and she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this.
Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique!
No, what? Why do you think that?
You knew what I was doing.
It was just an educated guess. We walked the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way.
Ah.
She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that's the second time this week that someone asked me if I was a mind reader. You really give out that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You.
Maybe you should come with us back to the school.
Lilly interjects just as I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper thin smile on her face badly disguising the fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's entirely inane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right, if you can't remember, there is no point in staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods.
Okay.
We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in an arrhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while he keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane.
Tap, step, step, tap, 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 step, step, step.
Apart from that, and the new fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quite a quiet, apart from the relaxing one. Apart from that, and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. A quiet, apart from the relaxing one into town at that. So, how's the mural going?
We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it will be wonderful. Bad luck.
Top step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Liz's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step. The hill Yamaku rests on top is surprisingly steep, going uphill. We slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. I mean, yeah, that's how it works. Almost there, I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lilly? Aris is there to say aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway.
Is everything alright?
Alright. How do you mean? I actually don't know what she means as well. The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. Wait, could it be that she noticed that you are going, you know, uphill and you might have that problem? Maybe she can somehow feel it through the fact that she's touching you. Technically not you, but by the sleeve, but still it's possible, I guess.
It just You seem unusually tired, I guess.
Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lilly noticed it all too quickly. I don't really want to talk about it. Sorry, I'm not in a very good condition. Okay, you know me. I really want him to talk about his condition with someone finally. It's been too long. Shizude, well, she was not worthy of knowing. And she doesn't know about exactly what's going on. Unless she broke into the nurse's office. With Lilly, I mean, hey, we can tell her. Besides, Rin already knows, kind of. Can we? Guide, can we? Apparently we can. Let's go! It's alright, I just need to catch my breath. My condition is the best these days. Oh. He didn't say what I wanted him to say.
Is it something that is related to being transferred here? I mean...
Rin, come on! You have to step up now. She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharpful, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lee, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being.
Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought...
Lee doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lilly's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty... I guess the best way to put it would be a messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it. And let's not talk about it, please. Please. Bad memories. Hilarious memories, though. And spent most of the spring in the hospital, ended in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She suddenly nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer for only seems to make Lilly furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. Meanwhile, Rin. Man, it's only that. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization.
Wait. So the time when Amy and you collided in the hallway...
I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah. I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridor exist. That was a lot more dry than I intended. Lilly visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to ask which are concerned, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I tried to offer a reassuring smile, but then realized this futility of it. Without knowing this, Lee smiles at me reassuringly but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her Murla as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all of the walk back that I had all but forgotten she was here.
It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad! Bad? Why? I think I'm going to go into fetal position and throw up, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. It's Friday, nothing's wrong yet. Just morale. It's going to be finished by Sunday, so everything's alright. Do you have any drugs? Or a time machine? This is no good, no good.
So she's behind the schedule. Calling, she's on expiration. Rin's girlfriend attitude several days ago. I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for told you so, unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Guess we'll help.
Leave me. I'm going to need to work for a while.
I glanced at Lilly, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then realized she's not one to do that kind of thing.
Leave me.
We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has the knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going into shock or something.
I'm sure she will be fine. She's just... how to say that?
Lilly cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique?
Yes, a very unique person.
I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion melodiously, nodding in agreement.
Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance.
So my guess was right. Lilly offers a slight apologetic smile, as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings have prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lilly lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all of this as I am.
I better leave now and give this to Hanako.
Why did I say Hisako? I don't know.
Thank you for the company, Hisao.
She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is, it's just different. Relax, I'd say, but that's probably just relief over getting over it, over Rin. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me.
I will. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Let's end the episode. We'll continue tomorrow, of course. For now, hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a wonderful day and see ya.